Hi, my name is Gunnar Eckerstrom. My RU ID is 249006090. Section number 2, Monday, Thursdays. And I saw this play on November 22nd. The play I'm reviewing is Little Woman. It was performed by a student cast in a student auditorium. So everything about it comes out into like an educational type setting. My focus will be in a few main areas. First, I'll give it like an overview and then like some key takeaways. So, overview and key takeaways. Overall, it was an adaptation of Louisa May Alcott's classic novel, Little Woman. Um, Overall, the production kind of had to deal with coming to age of of the protagonist Josephine. Um, she was presented as someone who did not fit like traditional ideas and like gender roles during the time of like the 1840s. The actor played her as very like loud, stubborn, and pretty obnoxious. Um, but she did a pretty good job, I would say. The performance and costumes push the idea even more because Joe wore clothes and were like more like a men's attire and it had to deal with like some ideas about freedom and identity during the time. Overall, for high school, I think they did a pretty good job. Some things were a little bit more over the top than it had to be, though. So, the story overview: the story follows Joe, March, and her sisters as they grow up. While their father's away and becomes sick, Joe like became. The show scenes where Joe's like sitting at her desk, trying to become a writer. I would say like a key moment of plot was where their father becomes ill, and they need to travel to the hospital to get her. And while that happens, Joe wants to go to Europe. Um, Joe meets a young man, and they try to settle down. Joe's trying to be a little bit more different. She then pulls down her proposal. I would say so the ending was very bittersweet. Where they like all gathered on the bed while her one of Joe's sisters dies. I thought that was a very bittersweet moment during the play. So overall, the acting. So this isn't. This is a picture of Joe March. This is what she kind of looked like. Again, like 1800s attire, but a little bit more masculine, not as feminine. I would say. I would say the actor was a little like, she played a little more loud, stubborn, rebellious, obnoxious at times. Not like classic feminists like how they were supposed to be viewed during that time, the 1800s. My critiques basically have to do with like Joe's performance being like a little bit too much over times. I thought that she was a little over the top at times. Dialogue, as I included, like dialogue often was a little bit dragged out sometimes. Like could have been a little bit more succinct, but they did their best. That was pretty good. So the setting place took place in my old Red Bank Regional Theater. I believe it's called. I have the title right here. Joseph A. the Third's Theater, Little Silver, New Jersey. It was a standard proscenium stage. As you can see, I took a picture of the opening scene. It was at a fireplace in their home. Again, I would say like the deathbed scene was a very good scene where they were like dimming the lights and stuff. They did a good job of lighting. Depending on like if it was a serious scene or like coming in, just like a closed-in scene where she was writing. I thought it was a simple, clear design that really fit with the presentation. And overall, I'd say it was a 7.10. It was a good performance. Thank you.